This is the Spurs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the San Antonio Spurs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Now, no better way to shake off two bad losses than to come back home to your building on national TV against your arch rival in an Emirates Cup game and get one of the biggest wins of the season, probably the biggest win of the season. Welcome into the Spurs POSTCAST, recapping a fun night right here on Locked On Spurs. As always, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. This is where you're checking in with your team after every game, and we're hyped up because we're doing things like this. It feels like almost every night. It hasn't been, well, we've been here every night, but the vibes haven't been the same every night. But, we're feeling good along the way. Recapping a victory tonight for your silver and black on the better side of things, taking care of the Rockets by the final of 121-110. He, of course, is NBA champion Devin Brown. I am merely Casey, Mr. Devin. A good win tonight, a good bounce back, and it took a little bit of everybody to get to it.
Yeah, it definitely did. Great bounce back game. Victor was, but the others stepped up tonight. And don't get me wrong, Victor, made some big plays down the stretch, and the Spurs come out with a great win.
Let's talk about how they did it.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, so the story of this game is going to be the fact that, like you said, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty on both sides. It was sloppy on both sides. It was physical. It was two rival teams getting after it, throwing haymakers, everything you'd pretty much expect from Rockets, Spurs, wherever they play it, regardless of that. But tonight, the difference maker, 15 offensive rebounds from San Antonio leads to 33 second chance points. Harrison Barnes, the high man, he had 24.6 threes. Victor, 22, 8, and 4. 4 turnovers, 8 of 16 from the field. Julian Champagnie, 22 and 7. Vassell, 15. Stephon Castle, 14 points, 13 assists. And pivoting off that Keldon Johnson, or off the offensive rebound point, 15 offensive rebounds, 5 of them go to Keldon Johnson as a whole. They force a bunch of turnovers on the Rockets side. Houston turning the basketball over 23 times. Spurs turned it over 20, but we'll get to that in a minute. And this is one of those games, Devin Brown, that they're going to be sloppy, and we talked about it at the start of the year. The offense, per se, is not going to win them the game. The defense is going to win the game. The grit, the hustle, 50-50 ball is going to win them the game, and that's what it was tonight. Yeah,
definitely. Hey, listen, it's much better to clean some of these things up and watch film after a win, right? On the Rocket side, they're going to watch and, be a little disgusted as well. But for the Spurs side, hey, listen, sloppy, but down the stretch, making plays, doing what you needed to do to win that basketball game. And I'll tell you what, like you said about the offensive rebounds, 15, Casey, 15. That's remarkable.
And it was one offensive rebound in particular at the 3:30 mark that just about, in our opinion, was the turning point tonight.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
All right, so technically a little after the 3:30 mark. KD hits a couple of free throws to make it 108-105. Ensuing possession at 3:30. Ensuing possession down the floor in a three-point game that the Spurs are on top. Victor misses. Castle gets the offensive rebound. Castle resets. Champagnie hits one of his 6 threes that he hit on the night. That play, a microcosm of what it's going to take for this Spurs team on some of these nights like this, because there's going to be a lot of these nights like this where they're going to have to win ugly, and it's not going to be pretty, and they're not going to shoot the ball particularly great. They're going to turn the ball over, but they're going to beat up the other team in the process. And that play, really a microcosm of how they got it done tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Just, those 50-50 balls. We saw it the last, couple of times out, playing Phoenix and LA. The Suns and the Lakers were winning all that. Mitch, I have to say, I'm looking at the numbers as we're talking. He laid the gauntlet down. Mm-hmm. So there's some guys on the team, that have been playing, some pretty good minutes. And as you look at what went on tonight, and you and I talked about it before we came on, you better start realizing that you're going to have to play defense. You're going to have to rebound and get those 50-50 balls if you want to stay in this rotation, because, a little birdie told us that there's a certain somebody coming back and he's a very important somebody. So good to see, San Antonio on the other side of winning all the hustle plays, and Casey, they just look fantastic tonight.
They did, and something that was interesting was the rotation really felt condensed this evening. Really, he played 10. Just double check. He played 10. Right? I'll triple check that one more time. Yeah, he played 10 guys. Wanted to make sure I got it correct. But only 2 of those guys off the bench got double-digit minutes. Sohan 15, Keldon 27. So really, he played like 6.5 guys.
Right.
And this is probably the tightest rotation that he's played. I don't want to speak entirely to that, but just from the numbers, you have not seen Mitch Johnson go to essentially a 6-7 man rotation. Well, no team really goes 6, but like a tight 7-man rotation like that. And it kind of speaks to the game that it was, right?
It definitely does. We talked about this in the last episode of our wonderful show, and that the fans are doing a great job of paying attention to. Thank you guys. I told you when he got back to, what do they call it, Casey, the Rock? There's a Bible.
Look.
The Bible is in the office. Pop has that Bible in there, and I think Coach Mitch went in there and he said, you know what? Okay, sometimes you go to a 7-man rotation, because I'll tell you what, the starters were awesome. I mean, awesome tonight. Everybody in double figures. So just a great job by San Antonio. A great job by Mitch making these adjustments. And sometimes you just got to go with your horses, and that's what he did tonight.
Well, yeah, what I liked about this win tonight, and as it pertains to the job that Mitch did, it felt like he didn't outsmart himself. It felt like he didn't outsmart himself and put this guy in because this guy is a better matchup with that. He played to the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wrote a hot hand for what it was. Just because this guy matches up per se a little bit better on Reed Sheppard. This is just me spitballing right here. Traditionally, that matchup looks better here. Well, I'm not going to take out Keldon at the expense of that, because Keldon has looked really good. He rode the hot hand tonight, and that's what I thought Mitch did a very good job of, and probably was the difference in ultimately the end result.
Yeah, he definitely did. And, I'll tell you what, just up and down the line, San Antonio, different spots of the game look really good. And obviously it got ragged for a little bit, but that's going to happen when you're playing the Houston Rockets. That's what happened when I was playing against them. But at the end of the day, you get a win. Okay. Now we move on. You got to get ready for tomorrow night.
Yeah, and Spurs winners tonight, 121-110 over the Rockets in their Emirates Cup opener. Do you like the court this year?
Do I like the what?
The court. The
court.
You like it this year? Yeah, I'm the same way.
No, I'm looking at, in the background, the viewers are seeing my eyes go back and forth because I love the NBA. I'm watching Denver, and I'm like, what is that? Yeah, no.
I'm all right on the Emirates Cup, but the court's got to go.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. All right. Talking about more on the victory coming up on the other side of the break. Again, how they did it, what went right, what went wrong, and that big return that's on deck tomorrow. I know Devin said it was a little birdie talking to more like a big birdie, big fox that's been talking, I guess you could say at this point. That was what I wanted. That coming up in a little bit more right here on the Spurs postcast right here on Locked On Spurs. But first, got to talk to you about a couple of our friends. Yeah, if you're feeling good, you're feeling hungry, I got where you check in. You're going to want to go to DoorDash. NBA season heating up, and they found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all year long. How do they do it? Well, as we know, they're the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something. Check this out. It's called the bag drop. So every time an NBA player puts 50 in the game, doesn't matter who it is, could be Wemby, could have been KD tonight, whoever it may be, DoorDash is going to drop 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered to for the chance to win the ultimate fan bag, and it you want. So if you're pulling for Wemby to do it because you're going to get a chance to get a bag that's got the player inspired gear, all that stuff that you actually want. So the next time someone goes for 50, San Antonio, promo code NBA the next day, 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass, and your chance to get, of course, the bag.
Yeah, he's doing the commercials right now.
Terms apply, and as always, check it out. Also, we're going to have a conversation about FanDuel. There's no better place, title sponsor of our program, by the way, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Even if you missed the start of the game or checking in, riding the hot hand, FanDuel is the live bet. So you saw it in the middle of this game tonight. The Spurs were 4.5-point dogs coming in, and midway through the third quarter, it got up to a 6.5. An example of what you're looking at. You combine the live bets into same-game parlays for your shot to win even bigger money. It keeps the game exciting. Be sure to check it out. Right now, when you go to FanDuel, it's giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 hits. FanDuel.com. Sign up, play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. And finally, you and I make decisions, and every day, for better or worse, their decisions better or worse. But on Prize Picks, being right is going to get you paid. I can't get you paid, but Prize Picks can. Don't miss any of the excitement this sports season, regardless of what it is. You haven't tried it yet. Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. You get them right, you win. So what's that take? 60 seconds? That wasn't even 60 seconds. And we got a lot of Texas viewers here, right? Usually not allowed to do it. You can do it in California, Texas, Georgia, wherever you may be. So Prize Picks app's where you want to go. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA, $50 in lineups after you play your first 5. Locked on NBA for $50 on your first 5. It's good to be right, as the fine folks over there at Prize Picks likes to say. It's also good to walk away with a win, much like the Spurs did tonight, for better and for worse going into the weekend. All right, welcome back, my good buddy, Mr. Devin Brown over here, following the 121-110 San Antonio Spurs victory tonight over the Houston Rockets, moving to 6-2 on the season, my friend.
Yeah.
6-2 on the season, and all it takes is one win to erase the stench of that mini West Coast road trip.
Right.
But there are still a lot of things to figure out. We saw that. Victor turned it on late down the stretch. And it was one of those things where defense leading to offense, got a couple good contests, couple good, it's cliche, but they say sometimes one play on one side of the floor on the defensive end can get you going on the offensive. And it's probably a confidence type deal, I would assume. You, of course, would know better than me, but it felt like that's what it was. Some big defensive plays in the third quarter, freed him up, loosened him up, hit a couple baseline shots, and he looked better the rest of the way. Obviously an encouraging sign, but still a lot of imperfections because the first half wasn't great. They still turned the ball over collectively 20 times. Not ideal. What did you see, I guess, on the less than stellar side of things that needs to be tidied up going into tomorrow, especially as it pertains to the struggles that they had out west?
Well, there's still some things as far as, when you're working and you're getting towards the end of that shot clock, Houston able to get some of those offensive rebounds. Houston kind of gutting them, as far as, penetrating and kicking and getting some of the open shots that they did. But, some of the positives, as far as the guy stepping up, I'm pretty sure that was a very tough plane ride coming back from LA. And we talked about it, you and I and Jeff as well, about it not all being on Victor. And this may be new to him as far as and I'm not talking as far as being double teamed, but I'm talking about the way these teams are coming after him, elbowing him, bodying him up, playing physical with him. So this is new to him. So it's going to take all of them as a unit, the whole, Spurs team and organization, to come together and figure out where to put Victor on the floor. And that's what you're seeing in these games, where he's going to be effective, how he's going to be effective. And so this is going to take, all season. So we just have to be patient with it.
It's amazing how much more fluid things look, and this is again the armchair observational type guy coming from me. How much more fluid an offense looks when the threes are falling. And
right.
Historically, the narrative is that role players play better in their gym, and that's pretty much what we saw tonight. The role players were playing better in their gym, but it kind of just speaks to what they need is just consistency. Hitting that 3 ball. You're not going to go, and Harrison Barnes is not going to hit 6 of 9 threes every night.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Though Sean Elliott, you and I were saying before we started, We wish this game was on the local FanDuel broadcast because Sean Elliott has been all in on that Mr. 100 thing for Harrison Barnes. He would have
all in.
He would have. Yeah.
He would have been going nuts all game.
I don't know if Sean would have made it until Saturday. That's how it would have been going.
No.
But in all seriousness, though, it speaks to the efficiency of how much better this offense can be when they can get consistent shooting. And obviously, it's not going to be there every single night. But when it is there, it opens up so much more. It takes the pressure off Victor. But that just, again, it's what we know for better or worse with this offense, it feels like.
Yeah, I'm gonna simplify it, for you because
nothing simple that comes out of my mouth. So
yeah, no, I see where you're going with everything. Let me just put it simple because our fans, the Spurs fans, understand it like this. Hey, listen, when you're able to kick the ball to your superstar, and your superstar is able to make plays under control, trust his teammates, leads you to 5 championships, and that's what it's happened before. We've seen it with previous superstars that have been here, but it's like we talked about. Victor, this is different because Victor has shot way more threes than I think Tim Duncan ever practiced, to this point. So you have a guy, a very versatile big guy that you haven't, and Victor knows his comfort spots and things like that. But, when they do push him out and he does fall in love with the three, where do you go from there, right? What do the other guys do? Because now you have your 7-4 guy on the perimeter, right? So this is a process. This is, other players getting to know him. And the thing about it is that Victor's the one that's going to determine everything. So these guys have to figure it out. And but I'll tell you what, tonight they did a good job of it. They're 6-2. Casey, let's go from there.
Victor, 2 threes tonight, or I should say, he attempted 2, missed them both. He's actually attempted no more than 5 in his last. Going back to the Toronto game. So
so
attempted no more than 5. He's on.
I don't even have to see the stats on that, Casey. You're saying everything.
Yeah.
In the losses, those attempts are up at 4. In the wins, 2, 1. It's simple. Big fella. Okay, we can't cuss. Get your butt down there and figure it out. Stop this.
But again, I mean, that just speaks to what we know of everybody else and the efficiency of being able to knock down that shot and consistently outside of him. And in fairness to Vic, that's not always going to happen. But listen, we're being diplomatic here. It's a good night. We can talk about the good side of things that's come with Victor after a couple of rough nights. And he was good. Wasn't great, but he was good. He was everything they needed a star to be tonight, and he held it down. Another star comes back tomorrow. It was announced today that De'Aaron Fox, after missing the first game, 8 games of the season, he is set to make his debut tomorrow against the Pelicans. A much-needed dynamic that this offense has been void of for, collectively, offense and defense, they've been void of. They need it. Yesterday, we were talking about on the Squad Show, and you brought up a very good point. You thought that part of the reason the rehab took so long was that they were bringing him back so they didn't have to load manage him.
Right.
They essentially could have brought him back at the start of the year, but you're looking at a load management situation, 15, 20 minutes. This month off that he essentially missed in between was that period. And now the anticipation, and this is coming from the Spurs themselves. This is Mitch himself who said this early in the game, before the start of the game today, that Fox is back and he's going to get thrown right into the fire.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah. The first thing you think about when you get a player like this, you think about Coach Mitch's situation, and you're the successor to Greg Popovich, and you've got your team off to a 6-2 start, and then you have a all-star that's just sitting there waiting. Beep beep. Hey, Spurs fan, buckle up. Hey, this guy's coming. He's coming. He's ready. no holds bar. That's an old school saying, Casey, by the way.
People
no holds bar. Yeah. But anyway, Fox is coming. Hey, listen, this is a 20, 30 game a night player who's been sitting there watching. He's been hearing all the noise, around town. Casey, he's ready.
I'm excited on a bunch of fronts. Obviously, to see an all-star on the floor, healthy, do that. I mean, we only saw them for 5 games, him and Vic together last year. That was it. So it's like, can you even call it a small sample size? It's like hardly a sample size to begin with. They were barely. Yes, I know it's a small sample size, but you get the point that I'm getting at. I'm excited to see just more of what we saw last year in that sense with him and Vic, which looked great. It looked fantastic. I'm excited to see how that impacts everybody else. I'm excited to see, we talk so much about the drive and kick. I'm excited to see how much that maximizes those guys like Castle and guys like Champagny to get good looks like that. How much this is going to free them up. Because I think what's also going to be infinitely more beneficial to them that we don't talk about enough is when they stagger Victor and Fox.
Right.
And how much it's going to take off Castle as a primary ball handler when he's on the floor with Fox. Because now you're not banking entirely on Castle to anchor that when Wemby's on the bench. You can put him next to Fox. And so this is, you'd imagine just about as anyone, it's a relief for Steph as well, because now he can kind of ease into that off the ball spot a little bit more.
Well, absolutely. Not only ease into that off the ball spot, but what about the other end? Because Steph's been doing a great job of guarding the other team's best player or the player that's hot at the time. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said this in our other show, like to try and command this offense, you're already dealing with a lot, right? Because everybody feels like they're open. And then at the same time, you're trying to guard the best player on the other team. Like, go back a couple of nights ago when it's Luka. It's tough. So now you bring in Fox, who's a threat. So guys like Champagny, guys like Gasol, they're going to start getting those wide open threes. Victor's going to start getting it in his spot. So you're going to see the offense change a little bit, but it's going to be in a good way because it's going to speed up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Hope they're ready. I hope they're ready. I know New Orleans, we'll have to probably temper our expectations or excitement a little bit at the end of the day, because I know New Orleans is struggling right now. They're banged up, but it's going to be fun to see them out there.
Hey, Casey, they're struggling, but as long as your boys out there, they're okay, right? Jordan Poole, that's one of your favorite players.
That's Devin Brown's short list of favorite players. Also, that's short list.
Yeah, hey Casey, here we go again with this.
Well, it's good. Now you get a front row experience. You
Awesome.
You can go check in the first half of the game, come back.
Yeah.
And then come back home, and then we'll do the show.
Hey, Casey, how does someone go off the offense, shoot a crazy shot, and then blame his teammate? Hey, you're supposed to be in another spot. What?
I wish I was as confident in anything as life as Jordan Poole is as confident in himself and his offensive ability. I have strived for that confidence in my life.
Hey, they always say, listen, if you can't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in you.
Nope. One of Deb's favorite players. Another one of his favorite players happens to be our player of the game tonight.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I'm not sure Sean Elliott's going to be back at work tomorrow if he was watching that game. So, Mr. 100, you might have to give him the love this evening.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes, hey, shooting it. I mean, when he's got such a great release on his shot, and when he gets it going like he did tonight, I mean, it's like you said, in case you bring up a great point about how it just changes the dynamic of the Spurs offense. So, I mean, just a great shooting performance out of him. Congratulations to Harrison Barnes.
Pushed over 200 viewers tonight on the program on a Friday night. So, again,
we had close to 150 at 12:30 in the morning after the Lakers game. Where were the other 50? They didn't want to stay up with us?
I said the other day, and I'll say it again, I like to think you and I know what we're talking about. There's nothing wiser, though. There's nothing that comes out of our mouth at 12:30 in the morning that should validate you getting sleep. Prioritize over one getting sleep. So
That's
everyone
true.
who is tuned in, if you're part of that bunch now, you're a bunch of sickos, but we love you. Thank you.
We love you. And thank you for the support. Thank you.
Yes. I say that obviously in jest. We appreciate everything that you guys have done to make the Spurs postcast, the squad show, and Locked On Spurs, under the whole umbrella, everything that we've wanted it to be, and a little bit of then some here in the collectively Locked On Podcast Network. You guys are the everydayers, you the ones who drive the program, and we appreciate that, and we look forward to doing that throughout the rest of the season, including tomorrow, which is the next time you will catch Mr. NBA champion over there and myself, a 7:00 tip-off back in town. What are you doing? Is that 2 thumbs up?
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
That's for the fans.
Got it. Okay, I got worried. All right, so 2 thumbs up from Mr. Devin Brown. After the 7:00 tip, we'll be right here breaking down all the action of De'Aaron Fox's debut, De'Aaron Fox's return to the Spurs lineup. But as for tonight, 121-110, San Antonio takes care of their rivals in the Emirates Cup opener to move to 6-2 on the campaign. For my dear buddy, Mr. Devin Brown, my name's Casey. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night.